Cordell.
No, not Cordell. Not Cordell. And it was the same situation.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, you know what? There's some men out here. Y'all ain't right.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't right.
They ain't right.
But I love the way you handled it. I love the way you allowed that situation with that particular football player who was not Cordell to teach you a lesson. My mother always says to me, as long as you learn a lesson, baby.
What's up, y'all? This
is
KOOLAID
and what you learned from that was, I ain't doing that again.
Porsha
Right.
and Gizelle.
And you learned that you're more important.
Porsha's Atlanta Housewives, and Gizelle is
to make you feel like
Atonement.
You're supposed to be important just because you're on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. We are bigger and better than just being arm candy.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I love that.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. And the other thing about the lesson learned in that particular case too is so huge, and they don't speak on it, and they don't speak on it because they feel shamed immediately. It's like when you speak, when you deal with certain people, you can be shamed. Like it's almost you should be shameful to say you were treated a certain way by someone. Right. And I never want my daughter to feel like that. Never. I don't want anybody's daughter to feel like no matter who you're dealing with, we're throwing every single what is it? It's a stigma. That stigma that is placed on women that silence them from speaking out, from being treated wrong, or pulling themselves out of a situation when they see all those red flags and still say it because they feel like they're not worthy enough, or they shouldn't be able to say anything, or they blame themselves for putting themselves in those situations. Right. And so I want my book is, some people may say a lot of the situations that I speak about in my book, that's a shame. But you know what? I'm shameless. I'm shameless. You have to remove the shame. You have to remove the embarrassment. You have to remove what you think anybody else would think. And you have to speak up and use your voice. And that is another reason why I wrote this book, because I want other women, girls who look up to me, not to just see us how we are, Gizelle. They see us, girl, we put on all this makeup. We put on this go naked weave. You know what I'm saying? We get in front of these cameras and it's lights, camera, action. But there was so much that we as women had to go through and learn from our mothers, our aunties, that I decided to go ahead and put it in this book in one book, so that you would be able to see it right here. So some of these girls who don't listen to their moms, some of these girls don't listen to their aunties. Yes. Maybe they'll listen to me. And maybe this will help them make another decision for themselves instead of letting them put a man on the pedestal before them. Right. Now, listen to their mom. We're gonna go. Some of these girls don't listen to their auntie. What you saying? I said we're gonna move on to another chapter. Okay. So, because I appreciated this, because I'm a mother, and you know how I feel about being a mom. Like those are my girls, and mine are older. So when I was reading the story, now I'm not gonna tell y'all the whole story, but Miss Diane pulled Porsha out of a car. As a matter of fact, when I say pull, I have to say she yanked her. Yanked her. That's the first snatch of my life.
Damn.
Oh my God, this is one of my kids. What would I do? And guess what? I would be yanking them too, right? Yeah. So how influential and respectable and honorable is your mother as it relates to being a mom and how you're raising your daughter?
I want
Let
to know.
me tell you something. My mother, from very early on, people see me now. I'm a grown ass woman. I do what I want. I say what I want. Yeah. So nobody would really believe that my mom was how she was. You would think that, she was a different way. My mom was like this. Okay. When I was younger, girls used to sneak out of the house, and try to skip school and all that. I never really did any of that. And the reason why is because my mom always was a little bit crazy. I always knew. I always see that other side. Yes. Also because she always said to me, you know what? You're a young lady, and understand that if you go out there and you do grown folks things, you're going to get grown folks results. So she didn't hold me so tight to where I was afraid to do anything. She just made me aware of the world. She was just honest with me. Men will take advantage of you. You can find yourself in these situations. You may mess up your life. Right. Now, I'm not going to be overly controlling, but I'm going to let you know this is what the world looks like. Okay. And that's how I want to be with my daughter. And that's where this book comes from. Because trust me, I know at one point in time, my daughter is going to read this book.
Mhm.
And I'm going to have to discuss a lot of these issues with her. And that's okay with me. It's good to be aware of what the world is so you can make the right choice. And because you know what, Gizelle, because I always made my own choices. When people used to ask me to skip school or smoke weed outside of that situation, right? Smoke weed and do drugs and all that. I told him no, not because my mama told me no. I told him no because I knew I didn't damn want it. Right. I wanted to be in my right mind if I was around some men. I knew I wanted to be able to go to school the next day or whatever it was. So I started to get a mind for myself. And Gizelle, that's what I want for all of our daughters. I want them to be grow up confident enough to know that when they say no, damn it, that means no.
Yep.
Okay. When they make a decision for their life, they know it's the right decision for their life, and they put them first, and that's not selfish. That's what I really want.
I think it's all about communication. I try to be so overly honest with my kids to the point where they're like, "Ma, okay, right." Because I don't ever want them to be out in the streets learning things that their mama didn't already tell them. Yeah. So, I know now, speaking on mama and what you didn't tell her, I kept reading to another chapter. Y'all, this book is juicy.
It's a lot.
Yes. And I will not mention his name, but he's an R&B person. And you did not talk to your mom about the situation that you had with this R&B singer until now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually like, wow, this is something that I know Miss Diane would have handled like the first time you met. So why didn't you talk to your mom, Porsha?
I know, that's such a big question. To be honest with you, I was operating at that point in my life, and this is the point in my life that I want to break for other women.
Right.
I was operating in a pattern of men that I was attracted to, men that I would gravitate towards. And majority of the men that I would gravitate towards were actual predators. I didn't even realize it. You know, now that I think about it back then, most of the men that I dated were older than me. Most of the men I dated were older than me. Okay. I realize now, thinking back to that Porsha, I always wanted love from them. I always wanted them to just want me to be around. I always wanted to be pleasing to a man, right? In those days. Yes. And it led me in a lot of different scenarios in this book that were very damaging to me. Yeah. And so I really feel like at the time, I didn't tell my mom about a lot of those situations in the book because I didn't want her to feel like she had let me down in any way. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old. Right. And she did a damn good job raising me. She owned her own business. I worked in her business all the way from the age of 17 years old. And this is something, I don't know what you can take away from this, but I admired my mother so much that I never wanted to disappoint her. I never wanted her to feel like there was any point she missed out because my father wasn't in the household. So
that was my next question.
For that by keeping part of my life private.
Yes, which girl should not?
I would only show her what I wanted her to see. Right. And you know, so she only thing she knew is that I was dating maybe a young boy at school. Or, you know, this young guy. She didn't know about a lot of these other situations. And at that time, all she knew was I worked at a furniture store and was doing good in life. That's all I wanted her to see. Right. But what I would love for my daughter to understand is that no matter what, she can never disappoint me. And I know that my mom feels that now that I talk to her, she's looking at me with tears in her eyes. Like, baby, you could have never... You would have never disappointed me. Of course. I would have always supported you. I would have always supported you no matter what. Right. But I didn't know that. And these are conversations that I would love for the book to provoke for mothers and daughters. That's no matter what. Because, you know, as mothers, we honestly do the best we can. Right. Thank you. We do the best we can, and she did the best she could. But our daughters need to know that there is no stone in their life that we wouldn't want to unturn with them. Right. And have these open conversations. So That's why it was fear and me just not wanting to disappoint her. But here I am, 40 years old, have to have this conversation with her now. After I decided to put it all inside of the book, you know.
She put it in the book. Now her mama got to
now,
read it.
You know,
Her mama gonna read her book and see all them
I survived.
Yeah,
I think
stuff in the
biggest
closet.
thing I want people to get from this book is that I'm here and that I'm still standing and that now I'm able to use my voice. And anybody out there can really do the same. I know I'm on this show. I know they got the spotlight on me, but I am a regular little black girl from Decatur. And you get all of that from this book. You can see how normal I am and see that you too can survive and come out your situation.
That's what I love from it and took from it. And that's why I was like, Porsha is being very vulnerable. And she is keeping it 100% with all of us, which I so appreciate. Now, let's move on to when you became a housewife. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I love when you kind of narrated your look at by the way, you didn't know that I was Gizelle / Oprah and I can make people cry. Now you
ma'am, I thought we was gonna go there and giggle and have a sip. Like we have found a whole nother route for you. Like, hello, Andy. You got a little Oprah over here.
Listen, Andy better recognize. Now listen, let's move on. Okay. So I remember sitting at home watching you in your first season of Atlanta and your interaction with, Miss Kenya Moore, Miss America / Miss USA. I remember that whole interaction and you narrated it in this book. It made me laugh. It didn't make me laugh at the time when I was watching it, but reading it, that thing is funny to me.
Yeah.
It's gonna make me go get the book.
And I wanted to, I do talk about a couple of the ladies from Housewives in the book. By the way, you guys can pre-order my book. It is in my bio. It's available November 30th, but you can pre-order it right now.
Yes.
Yes, I do talk about some of the women in the book, and I have to. You've been doing this for how long? How many years?
6 seasons.
6 seasons. So 6, 7 years. That's 7 years.
Yes.
Because of so 7 years. I've been doing it 10.
Right.
And you know how it takes over your life.
Yes.
I mean, in the way you and I operate on these shows, it's a show maybe the first season. After that, it's your real damn life. I really have relationships with these people.
Right.
Each year is a year of my life that has been presented on camera, lived through the camera. So, I mean, how could I write a book and not put these women in it?
Oh, no, it was perfect. It was perfect because it humanized what we're watching. Right? And it gives kind of like a little behind the scenes. Of course, we always love behind the scenes, but it also makes people understand that we are human beings. Yeah. Outside of what you're just watching on television. We're real people. Going through real stuff. And when the cameras are down, we got to deal with what you all are watching. Right? We got to deal with it in our own lives. We got to deal with our relationships, with our guys, with our families. We got to deal with all of that.
I be wondering how that be working out.
Right.
So you
this is too much.
What you put in the book about it, Housewives of Atlanta, was perfection.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Listen, what's so crazy is like people always talk about now. I've been doing interviews, for the book or whatever. Yeah. And the biggest thing is like, coming from a reality star or you're a reality star, and I'm like, reality star. I love it. Because it gave me this platform. Yes. And honestly, I don't know if you noticed, being on these shows, you actually deal with your shit quicker, right? And you deal with it in kind of like a more authentic way, I would say. Yes. Because a lot of times we like to sweep stuff under the rug. 100%. And we don't deal with a lot. And plus, most people, if you are being a certain way, you don't get to see how that looks. We get to see it. Right. We get to see it. We act the fool. We do something that may not be quite right. Yeah. Yeah, we may think it's cool right then, but you cannot deny once you're sitting there watching your ass on TV. You right. Crazy. Right. So I had a lot of growing to do. Girl, I went to anger management. I had a lot of things to do. And it had a lot to do with the show, but a lot of it played out from personal things in my life. Yes. Like, I didn't even realize, like, part of my trauma I brought on the show was being bullied in school. Right. And you don't even think about that. It's like I'm a grown-ass woman. How me being talked about in school plays into who I am today? Well, it does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And if you don't realize it, guess what? Those producers will help you realize it real quick.
Oh, I feel like, girl, don't you feel like the producers on the show, some of them definitely are psychologists. They hire psychologists.
They analyzing my ass, okay? Stop analyzing me.
They know, but they help you. They really do. Over the years, it has definitely brought me to who I am today. I would never take away any of it. My biggest thing is no regrets, lessons learned. I came up with that like my third season, and I still stick by it today on the show. And
it got to be a lot to deal with.
All the highs and lows that you will read about in my book, I don't regret any. It literally made me who I am today.
100%, and you are a bad one, I can say.
Thank you.
Okay. Now let's get to
Porsha been through hell on that show. On that show.
Yes.
I love how you talked about, because all I knew about y'all's relationship was what I saw on the show.
Right.
But you gave the people some prior to the show. You gave the people how when y'all met and how you felt, and this, that, and the third. Y'all gonna read it. Y'all, it's juicy. It's juicy.
Okay. Look, girl, it's not edited. This is no editing, nothing. This is straight up no chaser over here. This is hardcore.
Oh,
now, did you, because that's your child's father, did you say to him, read this before the world reads it? Or did you tell him what was in the book? Like, did you give him a heads up?
No.
Ooh.
No. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
The only person that got a heads up on this book or some things from this book is my mom and my sister. My mom got a heads up because I'm her baby girl.
Of course.
And I knew it would be very emotional for her to read a lot of what's in the book.
Right.
My sister got it because when I was doing the audio version for the book, which, yes, there's an audio version, certain chapters I could not read out loud. Breaking down. So it just was too hard for me to revisit reading it out loud.
Okay.
And so my sister went into the studio and she read those chapters for me.
Oh.
So those are the only two people. Thank you, sister, little Lauren. But those are the only two people got a heads up. The reason I didn't give the men in my life a heads up or ask anybody could I use their name is because this is my story. And all of it is 100% truthful. And all of it is just giving you my perspective as a woman, where I'm coming from. Right. And there's nothing that I'm telling in the book, no matter how bad it is or how someone else may feel about it. Yeah. I'm not telling it to be sensational. I'm telling it so that you can get the full picture of what I'm trying to get you to understand from the book. Is that you as a woman may feel a certain way, you may love a man and this and that, all of the things that I put in there about him. How amazing he is, everything, good, better, indifferent. All of that is just my perspective of how I feel. Now, if these people, other people decide to go write their own book, that's cool too. But I feel like when you write a book, you put your name on it. As long as you are telling 100% the truth, I don't feel like you owe anybody anything. But I know he will respect what he reads when he reads it.
Yes, I can say that. I can say that. Now, what I took from it was because any 20-year-old woman dating out in the world trying to find herself. Oh, by the way, we didn't touch on your business entrepreneurial acumen, Missy. Okay, you over here trying to start a business and then this business, I didn't know you were starting businesses as a very young person, in your 20s. That is commendable. That is very commendable. And you got that drive from?
I got that drive from my mother. My mother, and embedded in my blood from my father's side of the family. All of them are entrepreneurs, they're teachers, they're educators, etc. My mother has been in business since I was 2 years old. And I actually started working with her when I was 17. So, my mother is a hustler. She has always made it happen, always, provided me with a good lifestyle. So that was just in me to do.
Right. Okay. Period. I love that. You will be showing Pilar that, which is what we always need to do.
what I want Pilar to get from the book. This is not just that I want her to be an entrepreneur, I want her to do well, because if you'll notice in the book, there's a lot of points to where I had reached the level of success. Right. I had a penthouse. I had a business that was doing well. I lived well. Yes. And I didn't value it. I still didn't value it. I still didn't value me. Right. I never really saw me as the prize. Yes. And so I want her to understand that she doesn't have to live by any tradition. Because a lot of my life, I lived through tradition from being from the South. Marry up, marry a man who's doing well, and who's well off, and who will take care of you and take care of your child and all of this, and you be his wife, and you be submissive, and you be all that. Although I do still believe in being submissive, you don't have to lose yourself in those situations. That's true. You don't have to lose yourself. And so I want her to learn that part. That's the part I want her to get. She already gonna be a boss. It is what it is. It's just in her. Her grandmother was a boss. Her mother, it is. She just gonna be that. But I want her to understand she doesn't have to live in any type of tradition. Get you a man, a brother who is going to respect you, and you're going to be his partner. You continue to live in that. Whatever you accomplish, I want her to bask in that. You know how to say, oh, she's cocky or whatever. No, right.
Somebody said she wants a man bag.
I deserve everything that I get because I work for it. And that's where we are today. And
somebody
that's what
Porsha
that's
finally
what
have
gets
a
the
brain.
haters
Oh, that's messed
upset.
up.
Because you know who you are. You don't have to downplay a damn thing. I have always felt in my life that I had to downplay every single success. So therefore, it never meant shit to me. So therefore, when I encountered someone else, I valued their money, their job, their house, their this, and only saw myself in their picture. Yes. It ain't like that. I want you to have to see yourself in my picture. Get on what I'm doing.
You know what's so crazy about what you just said? I did not. I was kind of like you. I was just kind of like being successful, but not appreciating it or not really seeing it for what I'm doing until my kids. So you have to keep in mind, this is not that long ago. Until my kids said, "Oh my gosh, mommy, we're so proud of you. Yeah, like you're doing so amazing. We're so proud." It wasn't until then that I was like, God damn, like I'm a bad bitch. Bad bitch. I have worked for everything that I had, and I appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it until my kids was like, "Yo, we're proud of you." Right. So we listen.
And her kids would tell her.
Me and Porsha, ladies, y'all out there getting your grinds on, your hustle on. Understand what you're doing and value what you're doing. Because if you don't, people will take it from you. That's right. Yes, and they'll take it from you, or you be done gave it to them. You just give it to them, and we don't, and that's not where we are now. No. That's old school right now. That's old school for you to feel like, if the man gotta have this, man gotta have that. Yeah, he gotta have that, but then he gotta have it too. Right, 100%. Okay, now what I was gonna ask you, I was gonna say to you was, young women in our 20s, we out here, we doing what we do. We're in relationships. We're excited about certain people because of who they are or what they are. And we make dumb mistakes. We just fall for the okie doke. We get excited because he flies us out and then once we get out there, we're like, he's not treating us right. And we're making excuses for the fact that he's not treating us right. And then as we get older, we're like, oh, hell no. I know how I want to be treated. I know how I should be treated.
But it's just a learning thing when it comes to young.
That's right. And I think that that's the journey that women go through. So we should never look back on the stupid things we did and judge ourselves.
We should never do that.
It's a learning thing.
But my thing is too, Gizelle, the reason why I put a lot of stuff in here that some people, it's probably embarrassing to some people to admit. A lot of it's in my book. It's probably some stuff that they wouldn't even want the man they date now to know about. Okay. Hello. But the reason why I felt the need to put these experiences in here as a woman is because yes, Gizelle, we made mistakes. Yes, we ignored a lot of damn red flags. I don't know why they just started to that the damn trend. Red flags ain't no damn trend or emoji. We've been ignoring red flags for a long time. I've been doing for a long time. But my thing is, if you got a big sister like me, if you got a big sister like Gizelle in the spotlight, speaking and being honest with what we went through, maybe you don't have to go through that journey the hard way. You don't have to deal with those people so long. Because once I really looked at it, my entire 20s was a pattern of making mistakes with men. And it was all centered around me not valuing myself, me not loving me the way I should be loved. And yes, at 20 years old in college, you can love yourself the right way. Okay? Amen. You can tell a man, you know what, I don't want to have sex with you. Right. Okay? And if you got an attitude, you can get the hell on out of here. You can tell him that. If you dating a man and he not telling you enough about his personal life, you can say, you know what? You're not where I am. You're not open enough for me. You're not giving me what I need. And you can tell him to get the hell on. A lot of times where I devalue myself is when I would literally know someone is telling me something that wasn't true or leading me down the wrong way. And I would just say, okay, because I just wanted to be here. I was always afraid to disappoint. Always afraid to disappoint. No, I want young women to not want men to disappoint them. They need to be the ones to be like, no, you ain't all that. Yeah. And not be afraid to have them not call the next day. Don't worry about if they call you.
It's a bomb squad. Y'all sitting quiet. Y'all not typing.
If you tell them no,
y'all can type on this topic.
Okay, now he's ready to play ball the way you want him to play ball.
Amen. And what I would do is I would just not say anything, right? Just because I didn't want to have the conversation. Because I would be like scared about what he's gonna say if I expressed the red flag. Because we always talk about these red flags. And so I would never say anything. And then I would just be like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm on to the next, which is another issue.
But you know, the more you ignore the red flags, you're getting closer and closer to his goal. And further and further away from yours. He's gonna do nothing but waste your time. And we ignore red flags in business and friendships and relationships with men. I mean, this girl, I'm just looking at the book. In the book, I talk about ignoring red flags in friendships and business and just in life, period, how you do yourself a disservice of doing that. Hell no. Listen, I want these young girls to be hell, okay? I hope that I go on this tour and I want you to come on one of the dates with me. I want to tell these girls, go out there and give the world hell. Yes. You deserve to. Yes. You deserve to. If something is not up to your standards, it is okay. All right? It is all right.
And if this dude is not ready for you, if he cannot handle you, he's not the one. He ain't the one. He ain't it.
And you know what? A lot of times, a lot of different places in this book, I didn't even realize the hardest points in this book, that was me getting in the way of God. That was me getting in the way. That's me getting in the way. That's me asking God for a husband, and then here I am gonna make the next man be the one. That's the one. This gotta be the one, Lord, because this is who I want to be the one. Well, God didn't necessarily say he was the one. And even if you think he said it, are there other things lining up with your values and what you want? Right. Or are you forcing it? And so now in my life, Gizelle, I don't know if you noticed, now that you this boss mommy the way you are, have you noticed that you have had to say no to business opportunities? Yes. You've had to say no to Negroes. Yes. You've had to say no to friends. Yes. And after you said no, no matter how bad it hurts you, because it hurts me when I have to say no, especially when it looks appetizing. Yes. But when I have had to say no in some of the hardest situations, the bigger blessing was right around the corner. Yes, that's right happened to me. Just happened to me. That'll be in my book, y'all. But right now,
you're gonna come up with a book next.
We're gonna have to pursue the Gizelle next, y'all. Yes.
Okay, now we winding down, y'all. We got a couple more questions. You did talk about you have been married before, and you talked about that, and I was a little jealous because you explained this wedding in great detail.
Well, I had to put a little razzle dazzle in it, honey. She ain't living no bad life all the time now.
And I said, well, goddamn, I wish I was at that wedding.
on that day. Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
it was so amazing. I was like, well, damn, I met Porsha at the wrong time in her life.
I should have been
Because,
there.
I did not know her then, and
Right.
was not there. And I love the St. Regis, like one of my favorite hotels.
Mhm.
So y'all will be reading all about that in the book. It's amazing. But you know what was missing at the end? I was waiting for where you are now. Now, where did you stop it in your life? Where did you stop the book?
So I stopped the book at Pilar's birth. So right after Pilar was born.
Yes.
And I ended it on protest, social injustice, and activism and all of that. That's where I ended. So I ended it right before my new engagement, right before leaving Housewives, right before all these, you know, newly major things. That's when I ended it. So therefore, you know, it's got to be a second one.
Book two.
I
already know. Book two.
Got to be
at least this one before you can get to the second one.
Yes.
Yes. Now I do
so much in this book. I was like, Lord, my publisher, we were talking, you know, I was talking about a second book. And I'm like, Lord, what I'm putting in the second book? I done put so much in the front. I done put it. Girl, when I tell you I put everything in this book.
No, but you have so much.
I wonder if she started from the beginning.
That I know about.
After that, I know. Yeah,
When she
but
first
that's how
started
life works.
Housewives.
Yeah, that's how life works.
I wonder.
Don't never leave the earth, honey, because there's so much life to live.
Yes.
So much.
Yes. I want to say that when people start reading this, I'm gonna need you to get ready, Porsha. As TD Jake says, get ready. Because this thing right here is flying off the shelf. Okay. This will be top of the charts. I don't know what the top of the charts are. What are the top of the charts for the books? The
well, that would be bestsellers list.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
She's like, wait a minute.
I literally was just, and I know you, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read about Porsha.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I read, I did not know. So it was so much more intriguing and interesting. I see you in a whole different light. I love you even more because of it. So congratulations. Thank you,
Gizelle. Thank you for taking the time for reading the book before our chat.
Oh, yes.
It was no easy thing, but like you just said earlier, we are human. That is it. We're just like everybody else. We live with our heart right here, and you know, we go through life experiences, and what are we once we get to our age but to share them to the younger people, but even to other people, period. I actually had our son's teacher tell me the other day, she was like, I was reading about you, you're such an inspiration. I was like, wow, like you just never know who you're touching.
Right.
So I am so thankful for you getting
so where are they getting this? Where are they getting it?
Oh, so in the link will be in my bio, and I believe they put the link. Lauren, did they put the link in my bio? Okay, yes. So we put the link in the bio. For you to see the tour date. So because I want to meet y'all too, and also for you to get the book pre-ordered.
Love it. So when will people have it in their hands?
They will have it in their hands. Depending on where you order it, it will be on November 30th or right after.
Okay, and that's when your life is gonna go woo.
She said woo.
Girl, I'm nervous now. Lord, I'm like, Lord, woo. Y'all better get good. Like honestly, talking to you is such a blessing for a kickoff for this tour because even before I got on live with you, I was so nervous. You know what I mean? Like, cause like I told you, I hadn't talked about a lot of these things in the book, and just to be this type of transparent is really different. But I really do appreciate you,
of course.
And I love that you said you're gonna share some of it that you can share with your daughters. And you know, we pray for a better future for all of us.
Yes. And somebody very profound, I don't know who it was, maybe it was Oprah, said if you do not share your story, you're being selfish.
Yes. Yeah.
So Porsha is not selfish, y'all. She didn't share the whole damn thing.
I done shared all of it, honey. And that's so crazy. Before you leave, I'm gonna say this. I was doing an interview earlier, and they asked me about, you know, every time somebody asks me about why I write the book, it's a little bit something different that I tell them. But this one was, I felt a duty. Yes. There's a part of our life that everybody experiences with us on the show. I know you know that because a lot of your life is off. A lot of my life was off. The show, but I feel a duty for those people who are following me, who support me, who have daughters, who have sons, etc. I felt the duty to give that other side, to give you another look at a woman's life, another look at a person who had to struggle through mental health issues to get to where we are today. So I did. I love that Oprah said that, because I definitely felt the duty to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
and the people, you're gonna go on tour, and I'm just saying right now, at some point in time, I'm gonna meet Porsha on the tour, and we're gonna be twerking. Like,
I can bring it back for you, girl. I have not twerked in a while.
Yes.
I'm not back move like that anymore.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna do a broke down twerk, okay?
That broke down
I saw you
twerk.
twerking on that beach, though. You had a
little something.
I saw a little something. Well, I love you and thank you.
All right,
so
y'all,
much
we
for
gotta
joining
go.
me. Have a good night. Kiss the girls for me.
Will do.
See ya.